Daniel, a 25-year-old freelance writer, has just moved into a quiet suburban house for peace and focus. It's a chilly autumn evening, and rain lightly taps against the windows. A soft yellow glow from the lamp fills the dimly lit living room. Daniel sits at his desk, sipping coffee, typing away on his laptop. The house is silent, except for the occasional creaks of settling wood. He's been alone for 2 weeks, unpacking, adjusting, finally feeling at home. The wind howls outside, making the old trees rustle against the glass. The atmosphere is calm but slightly eerie, with the occasional flicker of the lights due to the storm. A notification pops up on his phone. A neighbor welcomes him to the street, mentioning the house's history, but never elaborating. Daniel shrugs it off, chuckling. Superstitious people. As Daniel stretches, a soft creaking noise comes from upstairs. He pauses, listening. The house settles. He convinces himself it's just the old wooden frame shifting from the storm outside. Returning to his laptop, he resumes typing, but his fingers freeze mid-sentence. A faint whisper, a barely audible murmur, like someone calling his name from the hallway. His breath catches. He slowly turns his head, staring at the dark hallway leading to the stairs. Silence. Nothing but the hum of his laptop fan and the distant patter of rain. Just my imagination. He shakes his head, taking another sip of coffee. A minute passes then, a soft tap, like fingernails lightly scraping wood. This time, the sound is clearer, coming from the top of the staircase. He glances at the time, 11:47 p.m., too late for visitors. Taking a deep breath, he walks to the bottom of the stairs, peering up. Darkness, the faint outline of the hallway above. Maybe the wind rattling the house. He forces a chuckle and returns to his desk. The moment he sits down, a floorboard creaks, this time directly behind him. Daniel resumes typing, but the unsettling feeling lingers. The earlier creaks and whispers replay in his mind. He glances at the clock, 11:55 p.m. The storm intensifies outside, and the wind howls through the trees, making the house creak even more. Just as he starts to focus again, he catches a glimpse of movement in his peripheral vision. A shadow flickers across the wall near the staircase, dark against the light from his desk lamp. His heart races. It's just the shadows playing tricks, he mutters, shaking his head. But the shadow lingers longer this time, like something is watching him from above. He gets up and walks to the foot of the stairs, peering into the darkness. "Hello?" he calls, but only silence answers. As he turns back, the air feels heavier, as if the house is holding its breath. He shrugs it off again. Just a draft. However, the unease settles deeper, a nagging feeling that he is not alone. When he returns to his desk, he notices the pencil he'd left in the living room is now lying on the floor, several feet away from where he thought it was. He squints, studying it. I must have knocked it off without realizing. But a small voice in his head whispers, "What if something else did it?" The lights flicker again, plunging the room into darkness for a brief moment. And when they return, Daniel feels a chill creep up his spine. Daniel tries to shake off the unsettling feelings, returning to his writing. He tells himself it's just the stress of moving and the storm outside. But then, the front door creaks open on its own, swinging slowly against the wall. Daniel jumps, the sound echoing through the quiet house. What the hell? He rises and cautiously approaches the door, peering into the inky darkness outside. The rain is still pounding down, but the street is empty. No one is there. He closes the door, locking it tightly. The unease grows thicker, almost suffocating. As he turns around, a sudden crash sounds from the kitchen, a cabinet door slamming shut. His heart races, pounding loudly in his chest. He feels cold sweat trickling down his back as he grips the edge of the kitchen counter for support. Daniel's breathing quickens, shallow and uneven. "It's just the wind," he whispers, trying to convince himself. But the sound of footsteps follows, deliberate and slow, coming from the upstairs hallway. He freezes, eyes wide, scanning the dimly lit space around him. "This isn't happening," he mutters. But the fear in his chest is undeniable. He feels as if someone is watching him, and the sensation sends a chill down his spine. The footsteps grow closer, each step echoing in the silence. Daniel grips the kitchen counter tighter, knuckles turning white. He glances toward the stairs, dread pooling in his stomach as a shadow moves across the wall, flickering in and out of view. The whispering returns, clearer now, his name being called softly. "Daniel." The air thickens, and he realizes he is not alone. Panic surges as he backs away from the stairs, his instinct screaming to flee. But his legs feel heavy, rooted in place by the terror flooding his senses. "What do you want?" he whispers, voice trembling, heart racing even faster. The whispering grows louder, wrapping around him like a cold embrace as he stands on the brink of a horrifying revelation. The air grows heavier, pressing down on Daniel as the whispering surrounds him, growing louder, more insistent. "Daniel." His heart races, pounding in his ears as he backs toward the living room, desperate to escape the unseen presence. Suddenly, the lights flicker and go out, plunging him into darkness. Panic surges. "No, no, no." He fumbles for his phone, turning on the flashlight, the beam cutting through the shadows. "Show yourself," he shouts, voice trembling, fear clawing at his throat. The whispering stops. Silence fills the house, thick and suffocating. Then, from the corner of the room, he sees it, a dark figure emerging from the shadows, tall and menacing. Its form is indistinct, shifting like smoke. Yet Daniel can feel its malicious intent piercing through the air. He stumbles back, almost tripping over the coffee table. "Stay away from me." The figure takes a step forward, and the floor creaks under its weight. Daniel bolts for the front door, adrenaline surging through his veins. "I need to get out." But just as he reaches for the handle, the door slams shut, trapping him inside. He screams, panic washing over him as he turns back to face the entity, which now looms closer, its voice a low growl. "You shouldn't have come here." The lights flicker back on, illuminating the room briefly. Daniel can see the figure's eyes, black voids, swirling with darkness. He lunges for the kitchen, desperate to find something to defend himself. "What do you want from me?" he cries, his mind racing, thoughts jumbled. The entity's laugh echoes, sending a wave of icy fear through him. Just as he reaches for a kitchen knife, the ground shakes and the walls seem to close in. You can't escape. The room spins, and Daniel's breath quickens, the walls shifting around him. He realizes with horror he was never alone in this house. The shadows were always watching, waiting for him to let his guard down. Trapped, he looks for a way out, knowing it may be too late. Daniel finally escapes through a broken window, cutting his arm as he crawls outside into the rain-soaked night. He runs to the neighbor's house, pounding on the door, gasping for breath, heart racing. When the police arrive, they find nothing in his house. No signs of a struggle, no dark figure. But Daniel knows the truth. The entity is real. Even after he returns to his home, he feels it lingering, like a cold breath on the back of his neck. Night after night, shadows flit across his vision. Whispers fill the silence. He never sleeps well again, haunted by the echo of the voice calling his name. On stormy nights, when the wind howls, he hears it still. Daniel. And as he lies awake in bed, he can't shake the feeling that something is watching from the dark corners of his home. The horror is far from over. I used to think nothing truly terrifying could happen in my own home. It was my safe place, warm, familiar, and predictable. But that changed the night I heard the first knock at 3 a.m. soft. Rhythmic, too precise to be the wind. I told myself it was nothing, maybe a stray branch tapping against the window. But then it happened again, louder, closer, right at my front door. I should have ignored it. I should have stayed in bed. But curiosity is a dangerous thing, because when I finally looked through the peephole, I saw something that shouldn't have been there. Jake is a 28-year-old freelance graphic designer working from his small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. It's a cold, rainy night, and the faint sound of water dripping from the gutter fills the silence. Jake sits at his desk, eyes fixed on his laptop screen, sipping a cup of lukewarm coffee. The glow of his computer screen is the only source of light in the dimly lit room. Everything feels normal, a little dull even. He has a strict routine. Work late, watch a bit of TV, then sleep. Outside, the streets are empty. The occasional flickering streetlight and the distant sound of a dog barking add to the stillness. His apartment building is old. Thin walls, creaky floors, and a heater that barely works. The only other tenant on his floor is an old man, Mr. Olby, who rarely leaves his unit. Then, the first odd thing happens. A knock at the door. Soft, deliberate, rhythmic. Jake glances at the clock. 3 a.m. His stomach tenses. Who would be knocking at this hour? He stays still for a moment, waiting to see if it stops. Another knock. 3 slow taps. Jake exhales, shaking his head. Probably some drunk neighbor or a mistake. He ignores it, turning up the volume on his laptop, forcing himself to focus. But then, the knocking comes again. The knocking stops. Silence. Jake exhales, relieved. Maybe it was just someone at the wrong door. He presses play on his video, trying to distract himself. Then he hears it again. Knock, knock, knock. This time, it's softer, almost hesitant. He slowly gets up, his heart beating faster. He walks to the door, places his eye against the peephole. Nothing but the dimly lit hallway. He listens. The sound of breathing. Faint, but there. Someone is standing just outside. Jake's fingers tighten around the doorknob. Should I open it? Then his phone vibrates on the table. A notification. He steps away from the door, checking his screen. A text from his downstairs neighbor. Hey, if someone knocks on your door, don't open it. His stomach drops. He glances back at the peephole. Still no one there. His mind races. Was it a prank? A coincidence? He types a response. Why? No reply. Just the distant sound of footsteps fading down the hallway. It's nothing, he convinces himself. But he locks the door, just in case. Jake tries to ignore it. He turns up the volume on his laptop, forcing himself to focus. The rain outside beats against the window, steady and rhythmic. He takes a deep breath. It's fine. Just my mind playing tricks. Then, a soft knock. This time, from inside the apartment, his blood runs cold. He whips his head toward the door, but it's not coming from there. Knock, knock, knock. The sound is coming from the bedroom closet. Jake stares, frozen. His apartment is small. There's no way someone could be inside, right? His mind races. Maybe something fell. Maybe the building's just settling. He slowly stands up. Step by step, he moves toward the closet. His hand hovers over the doorknob. He swallows hard, then yanks it open. Nothing, just his clothes hanging still in the dim light. A sharp exhale. Jesus, I need to sleep. But as he turns away, something shifts in the reflection of the closet mirror. He spins back. Nothing. Just his own wide-eyed face staring back. The air feels heavier, like the walls are pressing in. His phone vibrates again. Another message from his neighbor. Why did you open the door? Jake's breath catches. His fingers tighten around his phone. How do they know? Then the lights flicker, and the knocking starts again. The knocking grows louder. Not just from the closet. Now it's coming from the front door too. Jake's pulse pounds. His skin feels clammy, breath uneven. He stares at his phone, fingers trembling. Another message from his neighbor. Don't look through the peephole. A cold wave of dread washes over him. The knocking turns violent, pounding, desperate, insistent. He takes a shaky step forward. His mind screams, don't do it, but his body moves on its own. He reaches for the peephole. His heartbeat is so loud it drowns out the storm outside. He peers through. Darkness. No one is there. He lets out a shaky breath. Then an eye stares back at him. Jake jerks backward, nearly falling. His stomach turns. His legs feel weak. The knocking stops. Silence presses in. His phone buzzes. A new message. You looked, didn't you? Jake's breath catches. He slowly turns his head toward the closet. The door is open. He doesn't remember opening it. His stomach clenches. Then, footsteps. From inside the closet. Slow, deliberate, coming toward him. He stumbles back, crashing into the wall. The air turns ice cold. His breath fogs up. The lights flicker. And then, the whisper, right next to his ear. I see you. The lights go out. Darkness, thick, suffocating. Jake's breath is the only sound. Then footsteps, slow, heavy, getting closer. Jake scrambles for his phone, shaking hands. Screen lights up, battery at 1%. Another message from his neighbor. Don't run, it's like the chase. A whisper behind him. Too close. Found you. Jake bolts. He sprints toward the front door. His legs burn, heart hammering. The knocking starts again, but now it's coming from inside the walls. Thud, thud, thud. Hands slam against the windows. Pale, clawed fingers scratching at the glass. He yanks the door open. A figure stands outside. Tall, hollow eyes. A grin too wide for its face. Jake slams the door shut. The whispering returns. All around him, a chorus of voices murmuring his name. His phone dies. A breath at his neck. He whirls around. The thing is inside, too tall. Its limbs bend the wrong way. It tilts its head, grinning, watching, waiting. Jake backs away. His foot hits something. His closet door, wide open, inside his own reflection. But his reflection isn't moving. It smiles, raises a hand. Jake doesn't. The lights flicker. The reflection steps forward. Jake screams. The knocking stops. Silence. And then darkness. Silence. Jake wakes up on the floor. His body aches. His head pounds. Was it a dream? He looks around. Everything is normal. The door is shut. No scratches on the windows. His phone is on the table, fully charged, but his closet door is still open. He swallows hard, steps closer. Inside, just clothes, shoes, and darkness. But then, a breath, software, cold, right against his ear. Jake freezes. A whisper, his own voice. Don't look. His heart stops. The light bulb flickers. In the mirror, His reflection is still smiling. The knocking starts again. Thud, thud, thud. 3 a.m.